Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Reggie Chatman on another major day here in the city of Atlanta for our Atlanta sports teams. Like you just heard me say, reportedly, or not even reportedly now, Terry Fontenot and Raheem are both out of their respective jobs with the Atlanta Falcons. Thankfully for me, I've got alongside me Gabe Burns, Hometeam, Brandon Leak, a couple of guys that can help me break this all down as we are reacting live to this major shift for the Falcons going forward. I'm just going to offer you the softball here, Hometeam. Your instant reaction to what we just have seen. We just watched that game today. All three of us were at the Benz to see it all change and all end. What's the future look like?
I'm shocked. I really thought that they were going to run it back with Ra. I thought that the 4-game winning streak at the end, things that were a problem early in the season were cleaned up. The kickers started making kicks. The defense continued to get sacks. His timeout and clock management situation started to go away, and I thought that was going to be enough to give him one extra year to come back to see if he could improve upon 2, 8, and 9 seasons. And the fact that the news comes down early, Arthur Blank had to be resolute and clearly had been thinking about this for a long time. And the word I have is shocked, because I absolutely thought he was going to be coming back to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons next year.
Man, it's shocking too, because like I said, we were all there, and Gabe and I were in the post-game locker room. We heard from the players. It was like a resounding, we want Raheem Morris back. And we'll talk about Terry Fontenot in a second, but we have to start with the Raheem thing. I mean, your instant reaction to this, as we were all sitting here on this set getting ready to do this show as the news dropped, it made everything change for us. This is an instant reaction. What is yours?
I'm stunned. I'm stunned. I'm stunned it came at all, but especially to come now. I mean, they just finished playing 5 hours ago, so what does that tell you about as far as what Arthur Blank was thinking and, how these, postseason meetings would go? Clearly, this was already kind of, I don't want to say he necessarily had his mind made up, but he probably had his mind made up going into this. It's jarring. I agree. The last month, you beat the Rams, who, look, they didn't win their division, but I think most of us would say they're probably the best run organization in the NFL. They were fighting for the 1 seed at the time. You beat a Tampa team that was really fighting to finish up and clinch its division. And I'm pretty surprised. I don't necessarily think it's the wrong decision. I'm just surprised that they came to the conclusion, given how this was developing, given how the young players had developed, how they closed. I'm a little surprised they came to the conclusion.
Falcons finish the season 8-9, coming off a sweep over the Saints for the first time in a long time, and they finished tied for a top of the NFC South, but clearly not enough, as the first amount of weeks seemed to really be a thing. Is there a point where you thought, or maybe that you think might have been the sticking point for Arthur Blank that made him make this decision, or what do you think kind of went into this?
For me, it was the Miami Dolphins game. You were coming off of a bad stretch. It was a winnable game at the time. They had a coach who looked like he was on the hot seat, and then you get blown out 34-10 after you've already been blown out 30-0 by the Carolina Panthers. That's what I thought. There were certainly going to be troubles in the water. You lose a game against the Jets, a hapless team that didn't even get an interception all season long. And so there were multiple opportunities along the way for Raheem Morris to go into an Arthur Blank office and find out it was the end of the road. But Arthur does not like to fire coaches in the middle of the season. He does like to be measured in his decisions, and clearly the fact that it comes down this quickly after the season concludes and you're 1 game shy of meeting expectations, I think it says a lot about what Arthur Blank was thinking, and a lot about what Arthur Blank wants this culture to be. And culture is what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And right now, back-to-back 8 and 9 seasons with the talent that they had, in the mind of Arthur Blank, is not acceptable.
And those 8-9, or the 8-9 record is not even, it doesn't even really tell the full story, right? Of course, they won the last 4 games this year, but even at this point, they had a long losing streak this year. They had that long losing streak last year, both at points of the year where it seemed like the Falcons were, had made that next step and could really compete for the NFC South, especially an NFC South that was chaos to the very end. I mean, the team that got in, we didn't know until the Falcons game ended. It was the most NFC South thing ever, Gabe. I mean, What can you? I don't even know what to ask at this point, right? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, for you, was there a point where you thought, or what do you think the reason was that he decided to do this?
This team came into the year with high expectations. They expected to win this division. They expected to win 10+ games. They didn't do that. And I get that they wound up winning 8, and they had a win streak where they were already eliminated. The missed opportunities. Yes, the Dolphins game, the Panthers game. But then the way you blow week 1, the Jets game was an abomination.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just the attention to detail wasn't there consistently enough. And this division is a disgrace. Like, frankly, the team that won it is much less talented than the 2 teams that finished behind.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even think that's – I mean, no offense if you're a Panthers fan listening, but I think that Tampa and Atlanta have way more talent than the Panthers.
You had 2 teams waiting for the Falcons and Saints to finish to find out if they were going to be hosting a playoff game or if they're going to be out of playoff contention at all. It was absolutely a winnable division, and all you had to do was win 1 more game, and you didn't.
Unbelievable, man. And you mentioned that Panthers team. I mean, that group was the team that lost on Saturday. So they needed this win from the Falcons, and it still wasn't. It's just an absolute crazy time. And just to add to it, and I mean, we were talking about it off camera, the big change is both Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot are both out of their jobs at the same time. Gabe, you were the one who brought up this point of if you're going to make the change, maybe do both of them at the same time so they're all, I guess, aligned, like they like to say, in the same direction. Your instant thoughts to Terry Fontenot also losing his job as general manager of the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, sure. The reports that were coming out about people thought Raheem was safe, but Terry would go. I mean, that just creates a little bit of a complicated dynamic, right? And ultimately, if, you know, theoretically, if they had kept Raheem, he would have been fired next year if he ended up having a losing record. But now this gives you the opportunity to reset the deck. It should be an appealing opportunity. Even though you don't have a first-round pick, you have a lot of young talent. You're in a division that's very winnable. Atlanta's a great place to live. I think this is going to be an appealing job, right? Quarterback questions, I'm sure we'll get to that. But I'll say that I don't think that Terry did a great job overall body of work. Obviously, he ended up fired. But he did accumulate some talent here, and these are rosters that should have been better than their records. And this past offseason was his best one. The draft was an absolute home run. He gives up the extra first-round pick, which is an organizational decision. It's not like he just did that, you know, without the approval.
Right, exactly.
That's everyone's on board with that, and it worked. James Pierce Jr. is awesome, double-digit sacks. I think Jalen Walker is going to be a better overall player in just all the aspects. That was a hit. Obviously, you get Watts in that deal as well, who's a tone setter. Billy Bowman was good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he had a good offseason. Obviously, it wasn't good enough, and they want to reset the decks. I do understand if that's how you feel. If you don't want it, I will praise. We'll see who Blank hires.
Yep.
But I will praise him for going, this isn't good enough, and if I don't feel that these guys are good enough to get me there, I need to find someone who will. Now, that doesn't mean he will, but I'll give him credit for that.
Both too little, too late for both. The run at the end for Raheem, and then the last 2 years for Terry Fontenot. You know, the draft this year was a home run without a doubt.
Yeah.
That being said, you took a tight end and Kyle Pitts at number 4 overall. Penei Sewell on the board, Shamar Chase on the board, and it has not worked out. Then you get Kirk Cousins, and you give him the huge contract, and then you draft Michael Penix Jr., who was injured coming into the NFL, and now he's injured again already when he gets his first chance to start. So some big swings, some hits, and some misses. I just thought it was enough for both guys at the end of this season to stick around. And now Arthur Blank is setting a new tone, and maybe he is getting a little bit agitated at continuously hiring coaches and giving guys opportunities, and they keep coming up short when you have, without a doubt, one of the most winnable divisions in all of sports.
It is a crazy, crazy time, and thankfully I've got you guys alongside me to continue to break this down. My producer says we have to go to break, so if you just wait a couple minutes, we'll be back with more on what the future looks like for this Falcons organization, where they go next, maybe what Arthur Blank decides to do as well.